Friends, today we have a special guest with us, Sri G.R. Reddy garu of Husis. He needs no introduction. Already మన బోల్ టాక్స్ కి గెస్ట్ గా వచ్చున్నారు. ఆల్సో ద ఫ్యూచర్ ఆఫ్ ట్రైనింగ్ ఇండస్ట్రీ అని మేము కండక్ట్ చేసినటువంటి డిస్కషన్లో ఆయన ఆ ప్యానల్ డిస్కషన్లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేశారు. సో శ్రీ జిఆర్ రెడ్డి గారు ఈస్ ద ఫౌండర్ ఆఫ్ హ్యూసిస్ కన్సల్టెంట్స్ లిమిటెడ్ అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ ద ఫస్ట్ listed company in National Stock Exchange in the Emerge companies group. So today, నేను ఆయనతోటి కన్వర్సేషన్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు I have found that he is an authority, and though I know him for a long time, they do for corporate a program how to design their career. సో చాలా మందికి ఇవాళ జాబ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, స్విచ్ ఓవర్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఉండొచ్చు, లేదా జాబ్స్ వాళ్ళకి ఈ యొక్క కోవిడ్ సిచ్యువేషన్లో జాబ్స్ కోల్పోయి ఉండొచ్చు. సో చాలా మంది దే ఆర్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ అన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ. అయితే వాళ్ళకి ఎలా అప్రోచ్ అవ్వాలి, ఏ కస్టమర్ని అప్రోచ్ అవ్వాలి, ఏ విధంగా వాళ్ళ సివి ప్రిపేర్ చేయాలి, సో హౌ టు గెట్ అంటే రైట్ జాబ్ అనేది చాలా మందికి తెలియకపోవచ్చు. ఇవాళ ఇట్స్ నాట్ అన్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ, ఇట్ ఈస్ కంప్లీట్లీ ఎ సెషన్ బై శ్రీ జిఆర్ గారు. ఆయనంత టైం మనకి ఇవ్వడం ఐ థింక్ ఇట్స్ రియలీ ఎ ప్రివిలేజ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ శ్రీ జిఆర్ రెడ్డి గారు ఫర్ యాక్సెప్టింగ్ to give some counseling to the people who are looking for an opportunity. And welcome Sri G.R. Reddy garu for this bold talk, and it's what you.
Yeah, thank you, Venu. It's a privilege always to be with you, and it's very exciting to see how you are taking initiative to help more and more people, and it's an opportunity for me and an honor to me to be here and share some of the thoughts. We thought these are very, very important for people who are looking for a job or who are transitioning into new careers. I think that is where I would like to really share my experiences. Even though we do a service which is called outplacement. Outplacement, we do it only in the places where we have companies when they reduce their manpower for various reasons. I think this time it's more of a COVID. When the redundancies enter, so when the redundancies happens in the company, they actually hand over to us. So Husis deals with only the career transition as an outplacement only with the organizations. We don't deal with the individuals at all. So organizations, when they have to move people away from their jobs, they hand over to us. So we work with them closely in terms of helping them through the psychological counseling, and also then the career planning and career coaching, how they can actually transition to the next career. So it's a very intense when suddenly you lose a job. That's when we deal with, and which is very difficult for people to cope up with. It is almost as scary as a death, which people do consider, and it leads to a lot of psychological issues. So what we do is we actually build the confidence in them and work with them. And these are all not small and short, because there is one thing that I would like to say is that our programs range from 1 month to 18 months. Okay, 18 months when I said it is important to know that there are very senior people. Okay, senior people jobs will not happen just overnight. Imagine a company is investing amount to help us to those very senior people at a CEO, CXO level for about 18 months. So 18 months is, imagine if it is not really serious, why would somebody spend 18 months and a huge amounts of fee? So what we do is we do it only for the corporates. We don't do it for individuals. But I think this way, thank you for giving the opportunity. At least we are able to share our thoughts, ideas over these kind of a forums, which helps you to be able to do a better search. So today we are going to focus only on the how do you kickstart your job search. Typically this session we do it for 1 full day, so anywhere between 6 hours to 8 hours, more like a workshop model. And hence I am going to really cut down it to just about 15-20 minutes of the presentation, because I thought I will take some of the very key points which are very important from a job search perspective and share it with you. And rest of them, probably you can ask questions, because it is very important that you must clarify your ideas. I mean, what you have in your mind, rather than because you have come come live today on this program. So hence, I think you deserve that credit, and you deserve that information from us. So there's a slide shares that I would like to really use, so that at least my thought process is in a sequence, and that's why I'm actually using the sliders. Otherwise, I would not like to use the sliders, since Venu said it's going to be a session. So I'm going to take the first 15 minutes to spend few minutes on the very key points. You must make a note and then ask questions based on that, very specific to you. Probably I can actually answer to you. Okay, one thing that I would like to say is it's always a job or a career. Okay, job is something which will just give you money. Okay, career probably will build you the confidence and where you really must reach. Okay, hence I think there should not be any dilemma in terms of whether you want a next job or something, because getting a next job is very, very easy. But a job that you like, a job that you really want to do for the future is very important to build your next level of career. So I would like to just move on and say one thing. I'm sure, what does it represent? It's like you go to the war and you don't have the bullets. That means, you are not prepared. So preparation is one of the most important thing. Thanks for this cartoon, which was done for my first job book, which I released in 2004. And Shankar, who's one of the greatest caricaturists from India, maybe the best two in the world. He's the one who actually really helped me to just draw this, and I'm very happy that I'm actually using this after a very, very long time. But it really talks about that one picture talks about the message that I would like to say before you actually start your career plan. So you must be very clear about your objective. What is that you want to achieve in your next move, into your next career move? If the next job is in line with what you really want to do, then otherwise you should not even try change your job or change. Even if you are currently not having a job, but if it doesn't really fit into your framework of what a long-term career that you want to build, you should not be really starting at all. So that being said, be clear about what really you want to do and how you want to really approach. So I'm going to today talk about more on the job search perspective. And now here, look at when you're searching for a job, it's a job market, right? So I would like to spend a few minutes on the job market. So job market is a two-way transaction, right? It's like you are a seller and there is a buyer. Okay, and buyer is nothing but the employers who are trying to take your services for their betterment of their business. And you are the person who have certain qualities. You are the person who has a personality. You are the person who has some skills that you are actually offering. So hence, it's like a sellers and the buyers kind of a market. Okay, so it is important to know when you are actually going to offer your services, you must know what they want, right? And plus also you must know what is that you can offer to them. This is very, very important. And then what is the story? What is that you're selling? What is that you're selling? What is your story? Do you have a story? Do you have a specific explanation about knitting the entire story? Okay, and do you have an approach? This is very, very important. When you're selling, you also need to know whom you're selling, why you're selling, and what you're selling, right? And in this case, it's you. So having the clarity on this is very important. So you must be able to spend more and more time in terms of preparing yourself, who you are and what you're looking at and how you really want to approach. And if this is not done, please don't even approach for any job search in the future. That's my recommendation. Okay, so here when you look at what are the key things that you're trying to sell, you're trying to sell your skills, your knowledge, the experience. Don't worry, even if you're a fresher, you have experience, because that the kind of an experience that you had finishing your college up till now, there are a lot of things other than just an education you would have done. I think that is called an experience. The life experience is very important. And if you have a good amount of experience in a particular job, I think you are just better off anyway. So then, more importantly, why would people believe you is on your achievements. So achievements is something that you must really prepare. What are the achievements that you have done in your career, so far, is very, very important. And that's what you're trying to sell. See, hey, I achieved this, hence I think you need to give me a job, right? And more important is, of course, your personality. Is it, what is that you're offering? You're not just offering just a body, right? It's about a personality who has those skill, knowledge, experience, and the achievements with them, and they have certain qualifications and also have some training. So end of the day, you present yourself as an individual. And this is very important when you are presenting your CV or whatever it is. You must be able to present the kind of a role that you played in any organization. When you're listing out an organization, then you say, hey, this is my role. I contribute to the strategic initiatives of the company. That's a role, not a job description. I contribute to delivery of services. That's a role, that you deliver. So you are delivering, you are managing, or you are contributing to strategy. So these are the typical roles that you play. So you must explain the role and the kind of experience that you have gone through based on the role responsibilities that you have handled in that particular company. And third most important, three things, right? Role, your responsibilities, and your key achievements. What is that you contributed by being in that company for so long, or whatever the role, in the role for so long, and for delivering those jobs, what is that you have contributed to the organization? These are very important. That's why you must know what are you selling. Then you are exactly preparing your CV according to what you're trying to sell, what you're presenting. Okay. Then on the other hand, that employers have a lot of choice, because nowadays the problem is that they get so many job applicants for a smaller job also. So if you see, what are they looking at? They are looking at someone who can do a job, someone who wants to do a job. This is very important, because many a times people just apply. They don't even know for which position that they applied. When they get a call, then they say, hey, which position or which company. Sometimes these kind of crazy questions people ask. That means that you have never really planned and approached to the job. So hence, I think someone who is willing to do a job for them, for that company. So it is important that you are giving that importance to that company, that you are willing to work with that company. I think that's very important. And somebody who fits in, right? Somebody who fits in not just by the experience and qualifications, but also by attitude. I think most of the times when your CV and your shortlisting gives one part of the entry into the corporate door for an interview, but I think the interview is all about your personality, right? So hence, preparation of your presentation of yourself is very important before you put a step into the door. But once you step into the door, you also need to prepare yourself to explain them why you fit in best. That means that you cannot explain why you fit in best if you don't know about the company, don't know about the job, don't know about the culture of the organization. So hence, the first slide that I mentioned, you must be able to prepare for all these things. I think again, here also the cartoon you see, it's me there long back, and we kind of filter through the candidates. So one of the biggest job that HR does is mostly screening, because the problem is that it is so easy to apply nowadays, either by email or by clicking your button to apply. It becoming overwhelming. And now HRs are investing billions of dollars in actually using some robots to eliminate who's right, who's wrong. So that means that your presentation and your data must be related to the job. Only then that will pick up, and that's how the screening would happen. And what I've shown in the screen is more like a physical screening, but I think that job is going to be done by a robo into the future. And let me tell you that it is a very tough job for the employers, because there are so many profiles that we receive. It is very difficult humanly, and it's a lot of stress. And sometimes we miss out on the right candidate. It may be you. and not because of your fault, but rest of them also, would have just dumped their profiles as such. So this is very important, what they look for, so that you are preparing in line with what the company is looking at, what the job is expected to do, and in what culture that you're going to work. Will you fit into that culture? So those are very important thing. And one more thing I would like you to really understand is there's something called a transferable skills. So transferable skills are something that which you possess, okay, which are not, if you are working in an organization, it's not the property of organization. So it is a property of yours. That means your skills, your talent, the innate talent that you have, you must know what they are. And then these are the ones which are going from one place to another. And these skills are basically you are putting to use when you're joining an organization. I think that's very important. So this is something like, you need to know that what is that you're good at, right? And also what is that you like to do. So what are you good at, what you like to do? I think both of these, and then what is that you're carrying as a personality, as a skill with you, which are with you. I mean, even though you must have written in a CV, it may not represent well, but I think if your ability to express is better, then I think that's a transferable skill, because you can use that anywhere. And also, please understand, when you're doing a job search, there are 80% of skills that are required for the job can be used anywhere, on any job, right? Today, reviewing an internet, using a mobile phone, using a computer, this has become very common, and it has become part of the jobs. So hence, I think when you are looking at also that, you look at that, what are the kind of skills that I have, can it be used in any other job? That is one of the most important thing when you are looking out. You don't look out just because I did this job, I'm looking for this job. That's one of the biggest mistake that you can make in your transition, and most of them get stuck there. They think that I have done this job, hence I need to do this job, right? If you're an accountant, you only look for an accountant job. But what does an accountant has skills? Please use those skills. You are very good with numbers. You can calculate well. You can actually account it well. You can actually process data well. So it can be used in payroll processing. It can be used in data processing. It can be used anywhere. So you need to really don't look at that, I'm an accountant, hence I'm going to look for an accountant job. But I think if your skills are certain level, and then if it can fit into other this thing, that way what happens is it will open up more jobs for you to search. I think that's very, very important. And also, sometimes some things we know, some things we don't know. So your managers or your friends, your colleagues could also talk about that. Hey, what are the skills that you have? So probably you should use that as one of the very important aspects when you're searching for a job. And as I said, there is nothing to beat the achievement. Okay, so you will be recognized by the outcome that you have given on a job. It's not about which job you did, how you did, and all that. But at the end of the day, people are going to ask you how an achievement is. So it's important to emphasize the achievements in your profile and in your ability to express. This is very, very important. Okay, when I say, achievements don't have to be like an earth-shattering, and it can be very simple, or it can be very simple in terms of a new idea which has changed a process for a company, right? Or it is that something you contributed which actually helped the company to even make 1 rupee more. I think those are kind of things that you need to look at. We don't think about achievement. What do I write? Okay, if you are in a college, what do you write? Achievement as achievement. Okay, score. Everybody writes a score. Okay, I conducted a workshop. Yes, that's something that you have taken initiative. That's your achievement, small achievement. Or you participated in a competition, or you won something in a competition which is not related to your job of your education. So try and use all these. Look at probably I think you can make a list of 20 or 30 achievements so far, and then use it according to the position that you're applying, so that you can represent yourself very well. The most important slide, I think this is a slide that should talk about the entire job scenario. Okay, so job market is like an iceberg. So what you see is called an open market, where your recruiting agencies and advertisements and these kind of things will come up. And what happens is, unfortunately, the tip of the iceberg, which is an open job market, is track, which is only 20% of the jobs that are seen outside. And after COVID, I think companies are actually trying to conserve cash. So that means that they're not spending on advertisement. So that means that there is also a challenge that it is going into the hidden market. At this point of a time, you need to be very, very clear in terms of, are you looking into the open market or are you looking into the hidden market? So hidden market is vast. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about it, that what you see in the tip of the iceberg is very small, but I think underneath the pyramid is too huge. So hence it's the same thing. And unfortunately, what happens is 80% of the job seekers track 20% of the jobs which are visible. It's visible to your eye, but you're not going beyond. I think there are only 20% of the job seekers will actually use the 80% of the jobs that are available. So that's why I always keep saying that if you have really planned well, which part of the job market that you're actually hitting, we can make out whether you're going to be successful or not. If you are very strong in going and in depth about the hidden market, then you are actually, your chances are faster. So that means it reduces the time to get into a job, and it also reduces a lot of stress of delaying time, of moving to. And also very important is that we take up jobs just because they are available, they are seen. So when you go to an open market, you have no choice, because 80% of the job seekers are actually behind you, so that there is always a pressure. But if you know what you want to do, if you know what job that you want to know, and if you look at the hidden job market, then you are the one, you will pick up the kind of job that you want, you like, the job that you would like to really build for your future. So this is very important. The hidden job market is typically happens through a network of a right set of people and their connections. Okay. And also a direct approach could be that you are actually talking to somebody who's directly meeting, who's influential in a company, who's a hiring manager. Hiring manager doesn't mean it's HR. Hiring manager is, let's say, if you are a accounts head, so you are actually hiring an accountant. So hence, you are the hiring manager, or you are a process manager because you are responsible for taking process engineers, onto the job. So that's something that there's something called a direct approach. But most of the times you need to spend on network. Actually, we do a kind of a 1 full day program for people who are looking for jobs, where we are helping those companies. We actually spend 1 full day on networking. So that how important networking is. So this slide, keep in mind, and always target your job search according to that. Okay, what do you need to build? There are a few things that you need to build. Is a good profile, which is online and offline. Offline is more like your Word document, which represents the kind of skills that I mentioned in terms of each company wise, the role, the responsibilities, and the achievements. Make sure that these are there, and then make it as simple as possible for people to read immediately and quickly, and make sure your skills are listed so that it is all represented in one go, and make a summary on the top so that it's very important. The same way, you can actually use your good profile when you're making profile, submitting profile on any of the job boards. Please make sure that it goes in the same order, whereas it is laser focused. It is not going around and writing essays. We are not going to get marks for actually presenting a large CV. So hence it has to be short, precise, and very clear, crisp, and positive language always. Okay. And also, if you're building a LinkedIn profile, then I think you can really follow the various hints that even LinkedIn gives, because it is all about intelligence, right? So you can actually have a right title, right photograph, and right background, summary, then company, tag the company, take your references, all these. So you have to really make a very good profile of an online and offline model. The next very important is building online reputation is important, because you may be on Facebook, you may be on LinkedIn, you may be on WhatsApp, or anywhere where you are actually exposing yourself to the external world, where it is very important for you to be a person that you want to be. And that is the one which is going to give you an opportunity to build your career. Because if you today, what's happening is people are immediately jumping into and checking about you on the social platforms. So your behavior on social platform is your reputation, whether it's positive or negative. So hence, please make sure that you don't have too many controversies. You fight on social media. We see so many people do this, but they don't realize that how it's actually affecting them. There are, as I said, there are investments that are happening on the recruiting space, where the robots are actually going and actually picking up your presence across the online places, and then bringing back to the user, whoever is the recruiter, and giving them a profile of, hey boss, these negative comments, so it's actually building a profile. So they are not even doing physical anymore. So it is going to go to that level. So hence, it's very important to build an online reputation for yourself, and make sure that if there is anything negatives that you have really doesn't represent you, or maybe it really hampers your job search, then you should go and delete all those things right away today. Okay, just clean it up, clean up your online reputation, and also behave in a way that how people would like you to be reviewed by them. So hence, I think it is very important. The other is build a good network. Online, you can network anywhere you are in social media. You are interacting with people. Your reputation is very important to build a relationship, and at the same time, professionally on LinkedIn or any other sites that you are really making an impact, that is very good. But offline also is important, because you need to have a network of people. See, most of the times the mistake that people do is that when they need in a job, then they call. See, for us, many a times it so happens that if there is a person who never responds to you, never talks to you, but he calls and say, hey, it's too many days, you're not even in touch, you seems to be busy, that's the kind of a dialogues that we get to hear. And the only response that we give is, okay, are you looking for a job? So that tells you the story that you should not be going when you need a job. When you don't need a job also, you should be interacting with people, either for learning or for sharing. And in network, it is very important that you must always share. Sharing is the first important thing. Then you expect to get something out of it. But otherwise, you will never get anything by only asking, because nobody is willing to give you unless they have seen that you're giving. So in the network, it is very important, offline and online both. And also, it is good to have a career mentor for you at any point of time, somebody whom you can go back and refer to, somebody whom you can actually speak to, somebody who can actually guide you, when you need it the most. So these are some of the very important things that you need to build. I will actually stop here. I think probably will take more questions and answer, and I wish you good luck. Venu, that's all I have to share. So probably we can
take some questions.
Questions. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just looking at the messages, and I think the questions have not yet started. So thanks a lot. I think this presentation is wonderful, and these tips, I think this one can visit maybe twice or thrice to understand each point, and also make the changes. Not only the changes in the CV, but also changes in their social media behavior. Because robo is nothing but artificial intelligence, and because to screen a large number of CVs, perhaps these companies are using these artificial intelligence. So and also you said wonderful thing, GR, that if you are an accountant, don't just look for your competence, and look at other competencies we have. And also I request you to talk about gig economy, because you don't have to look for a job, but you can work for 3-4 companies. And today I'm very unfortunate to see a teacher selling bananas at Nellore. He lost a job, Telugu teacher. So somebody suggested, and he's selling. So it pains us. But of course, I'm happy that he's a responsible person for his family, and your identity should not limit your possibilities. This is what I believe, because a person studied engineering will not think beyond an engineering. A person studies a law will not think beyond that, like CS. But life is full of possibilities. You have studied engineering. You are not an engineer. You are practicing. You studied medicine. So when we play that role, we get that designations and identities, and we limit ourselves to that identities. I want you to throw some light on the gig economy, and also if you lose a job, what else is there? You can be a business owner, you can take up a part-time job, you can become a self-employed, you can become an online entrepreneur. There are so many possibilities life offers. So I want you to throw some light on that, GR. As an entrepreneur, a HR, nobody imagined that an HR can be a company, and you are a person who's also many HR entrepreneurs have come from your organization. So I want you to talk about these possibilities. Yes.
Yeah, I think Venu, you asked about the Telugu teacher. So I think one thing that he would have really looked at is where is the demand for Telugu? Okay, if you see, the more demand Telugu is in America, right? All our NRI friends who would like their children to know their mother tongue, they're spending so much of money, and and there are a lot of schools that are especially for that. So probably, if he has a one skill called internet skill, right? He would have always actually gone ahead and also looked at that as an opportunity. Probably in his job search was very limited. Hence, I think it was the chance that he took with only a physical possibility, which is of selling banana. I think it really talks about how they are not really planning, how they are not really looking at an opportunities, how to really create opportunity. Hence, I think it's a big subject in terms of how to really make utilization of your skills. Okay, and having said that, a skill like any skill today is now possibly you can offer online, or you can offer on a part-time basis, because people are willing to. Earlier, we used to say, if the job means that I need a permanent job, let's say our parents would have actually joined a company and retired. But who's retiring today? The average age in a company has come down to 3 years. Now I think after post-COVID, it will actually come down by 1 year average. So that means, why am I saying average, is that there are a lot of people who are actually going to offer the services which they are good at, and they don't want to be stuck to one company and permanently, and then waiting for them to be giving you money. No, it's not that. Today, companies are also looking at that. If there is a skill available, and if this skill is required for a shorter duration, they are willing to take that from an expert. Not necessarily an expert. Like when I say, even data entry can be an expertise, right? If you are a fastest in data entry, I think probably that's the skill that you have, and people want, let's say, hey, these 10 books to be data entered immediately. That's it. So I think you will be able to earn more. Venu, I think this is what happens when you do a smaller, shorter period of assignments. You actually charge more, because there is no continuity. What happens is, the companies look at, okay, do I spend 10,000 rupees to employ somebody for a full month and become a liability, or do I spend 1,000 rupees for an hour who can deliver, and not having a so I think that's where the gig economy that we are talking about is emerging in the future. And our future generation people are not really willing to, let's say, even they're not getting married forever, right? So naturally, for a company, it's going to be very, very short. So hence, I think it is very important to see how your skills can be offered in a shorter duration of jobs, is called nothing but a gig. So I think that economy is going to be very, very, very big. I'll give you one very simple example of, you are looking for a software engineer job, and then hence you look for a large company who has an assignment from abroad, right? And now they're also reducing, they're also under pressure, they're not getting that. But what about the smaller companies across the globe who have an opportunity, who wants to utilize some skills, but they can't go to the large companies, because unfortunately large companies have become real estate companies, IT companies, where they're maintaining real estate, it is costly, hence their services have become costly. So for a smaller company abroad, they cannot. Now, what do they look at it? They actually look at somebody who has the skill, but who's willing to offer independently. I think that's going to be the biggest economy in tech field, which is going to emerge into the future. That's my prediction. I think it will be as equivalent as amount that it can generate in the next 3 to 4 years as much the IT industry is developing parallelly. So it's actually a parallel economy, very corporate revenues that comes into India, and the revenues which are by the gig workers. But not only IT, but I'm sure it cut across as the any job which can be done remotely, all the support jobs, and all the jobs which can be done by desk on telecommuting. I think those are going to be onto the gig side. So I think your opportunities are limitless.
Wonderful, wonderful, GR. I think this is one of greatest insight and advice from you, that people look for individual talent. They will not look for larger companies or for a small company because they are expensive. And also maybe one more idea I'm getting when you are saying that maybe if individual cannot deliver all the project, he can collaborate with 2-3 his friends and associates.
Absolutely.
And they will, without moving from home, they can be a team, and they don't have to form a company and pay them. It's only for the work. They'll be collaborating themselves. So
absolutely,
this is a possibility. So, and there's a question here that how a housewife can create a job for herself, and for a woman, how they can create some more income for herself and her family.
Venu, I think last a month or so have been only very, very positive that the most deprived lot is the housewives. In the advent of beautiful offices, air conditioned this thing, and when people have to go and work, that's how we created a complete environment, and it has shattered for one stroke called COVID, right? And that has actually opened up equality in terms of treating somebody who sits at home or here, or who have taken a career break, because I think women are one of the most important working category who takes break for family reasons, and which is very essential for our country, not just for the family, right? And then the people never used to treat them rightly, because now I feel the COVID has actually given an opportunity. When I say gig worker, she can work from anywhere, right? So people also realize that why do I need a real estate actually to run my software job or maybe a backend job? You can sit at home, because now that internet bandwidth is so good that I'm talking about in 1996 we used to talk about 126 kbps as the bandwidth. Imagine today you are GBs and TVs just at home. I'm talking about a corporate. We used to sell at that 124 kb kind of a line. So imagine, it's changed the whole thing. So hence I think the future is people who know the skill and who wants to offer. Doesn't matter whether you're a housewife or anything. So I think it's really opened up a big time opportunity for especially the housewives who took break because of this.
Beautiful, beautiful, GR. It's a great inspiration, because you are a man, not just words. You are a man of action, because you are a father of an athlete who participated in Commonwealth Games and going to win a medal in the long run for the country. So such a father you are, and also an equal opportunity and importance I can say for the a wife as well. So there she takes care of the admin, and now you know that because of her dedication, your daughter is becoming champion. So equal, or maybe she might have played a much bigger role than yours, because she traveled with Meghna all the way to other countries for the coaching. Thank you, GR. I can see that what kind of human being and leader you are at home and at work. Thank you so much for that. And we have some more questions here. Mr. Srinivas Katula is also my friend, asking a question that my friend is a senior marketing guy in cement industry, is in a search of a job. Please suggest his way forward.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Venu, when he's a senior marketing person, let him just look at the skills and remove cement. Don't get cemented with cement, and that's a problem. One of the first thing that his job search will hamper is, first thing he will look at, I am from a cement industry, hence I need to look for cement industry. If cement industry is not doing well, what happened? You are actually wasting your transferable skills by actually looking at only cement as an industry. I think then once he looks at broader in terms of the more industries, the skill can be used anywhere. It can be used in professional services. It can be used in engineering. It can be used in manufacturing. It can be used in product services. It can be used in FMCG. I think let him just focus on the skills that he has and look at from the perspective of which are the industries that potentially and the jobs that potentially can actually acquire his skill to that. So maybe sometimes you may have to do some kind of adjustments, because instead of actually waiting for cement industry to boom up, it will never happen. Then you are gone. Rather, you look at what are transferable. Take a part time, take a short time, smaller assignments. Let him not waste any time in actually just waiting for cement industry to grow. And I think that one of the big mistakes we do. So take out cement, take out industry. Look at only your transferable skills. Is my advice to Srinivas, whatever your friend that.
Yes.
And I
Beautiful
would
point.
have actually loved that if he has asked, because I think he needs to take that lead. But good that you are doing for him, but don't do it too much because they have to do it themselves.
Beautiful point, Jia, that don't get cemented by the cement industry, and not only that industry, anybody who has an 30 years industry, doesn't matter that you have to continue with the same industry. So if it is, I think one of the beautiful book called Art of Thinking Clearly, the sunk cost fallacy. That is, don't be in a trap that if your past investments are not giving you any benefit in the future, don't get carried away. People, because I tried in 5 years, I have been in this industry, I invested time, and if the future benefits are not there, and you are very clearly know there's no point in continuing that kind of career, that kind of maybe sometimes skills get obsolete, but strengths will never get outdated. So he has got a strength of sales, let us say, that any industry can shine. He has the strength of an engineering or execution. He can shine in any field. Very beautifully you have narrated. I mean, you have put it, Jia. Thank you so much for that. So, what's your suggestion for current generation in job searching? So, I think your whole session is about that. But that any more additional points on that? So, I think if he has not fully heard, I think you have to listen again that GR's recording. Yes.
So no, I think today's generation is all about shorter duration, right? It is all about longevity is not a question. So it's more about a short, but I think they're going to take up what they want. So I think please do focus. I would really encourage that whatever you want to do, you must do, and then you focus on and you search accordingly. And don't just go by somebody says that, okay, is it not a full-time job, it's a part-time job. I think just stop ignoring others, but focus on your own goal, your own future plan, your own that's why I said career mentor. Probably somebody can help guide. Somebody who's a third person who's not known to you is better, so that they can give a very constructive feedback, and that's very important. And also it's important to see that they build on this kind of skills that they have from time to time. And also I think the current generation has an ability to learn more and quickly. I think that's the advantage, because advantage of the technology and everything. I think so they need to only to have a focus on what they really want to do, even though it may be a shorter jobs, because we keep blaming them that they join, they leave, they join, they leave. But if they don't have a clarity and leaving, then I think there is an issue. But if they have a clarity that they are leaving for another job where it is important that they are building on a career plots, I think it's pretty good to do. But I think that's only 10% of the people do. So, but 90% of the people do mistake of they didn't like this and then just go. But if you don't know what you really like, then there's no point in actually changing also, or even getting into a job also. That's how I would say.
Wonderful, Jia. The final question about choosing a career, because Stephen R. Covey has beautifully put it in the book called The Eighth Habit, that discover your voice and help others discover their voice. So the voice and also Ikigai, today it has become a popular theme of Japanese principle of Ikigai. That is your passion, your mission. Passion is something you love, mission is something world needs, and vocation where you develop skills and knowledge and you get paid for it, and profession where you become world class. And once these four are met, that's called Ikigai. That means that's there, your voice or your strength is there. So how to discover that? My friend Ranjan Kumar he also suggesting, because we all do this program strength test called Clifton Strengths or Gallup Strength Finder. So that's not very expensive, but one can understand. I don't know how accurate it is, because I found it's a little accurate. And you have to suggest, is there any free test to find one's competence or one's strength, so that they can develop skills and knowledge based on the strength, so that if, when the skills are outdated, the strength is not outdated. So updating is easy. Otherwise, if you put some student in a program where it is not strength, but because of the coaching they have passed, they got the seat, and they have completed the degree, and they got a job directly from campus interview, box to box, and their life and got married and have kids, and now suddenly something happens, they're never exposed to. They are like a pet dog, that it's not like a street dog where they can find their food on their own. So what do you suggest, how to choose the career, and how to find the strengths and reinvent themselves, or choose a right career or reinvent themselves again? Can you please throw
So
light
there are a few things that I would like to say really on using. The problem is that if you start using any tools, it becomes very difficult for people if you are going to get stuck with what the outcome it comes in, because you have to see that whether if these tools are tested in India and to our environment, our cultures. While it may give some kind of an indication, but any tools, any tool, there are so many tools on free tools. If you go online and you can take it, but I think my advice is that take it with a pinch of salt and don't take it for granted what it is. You must use your own intelligence to be able to measure that. That is first thing. The second is probably if somebody is an expert into that, to interpret for you. That is very, very important, because any tools, what happens is if you take today, it shows a different result, and if you take after a few years, after 1 year, in a very different situation. So these tools are basically must be like an it has to be like something like you just wanted to know about it, but you don't indulge too much into it. It must give you some indication for you to take a better decisions, but not that just because of the tool has shown this result, I want to go by this. I think is a very difficult task, Venu. That's my suggestion on the tools side. And also that's why the interpretation, you need to have some mentor or somebody as an expert who understands that instrument, who understands you, so that he can interpret well. It's not just understanding tool is not important. It is also important for you to know that who you are, because your personality, you are independently different from what the outcome it comes in. So you need to really know what is the interpretation between these, whether is it right or not. You need to be very choosy. So I would always say that use the tools which are good. It will give you some indication, but don't rely completely on that and do your job search, and your next move will be, it's a stupidity if you do that. Rather, you use your own judgment.
Wonderful, Jia. So 100% I agree with you, because sometimes if it shows your strength and some things you are not your strength, and it will become a belief again. So it is only an indication, because sometimes a Vastu Pandit may tell you something that this line is good or line is not good, and that becomes truth for you. So I think wisely said that is why I always say that either have a mentor or get mentor. So that life needs a coach or a mentor. So take some professional coaching, and maybe if you can't afford a coach or a mentor, at least subscribe to their channels and listen to them regularly. Maybe that may give you some insights about particular field, like GR. So GR getting his mentoring is not that easy, but attending this program and listening to that, already twice or thrice he has come to our program, and listening to him definitely will help. Thanks a lot, GR. So I think we have questions. And last question, Mr. Srinivas Kattala again, that his friend is sick for the last 2 years. I think now he is now fine. Career break for 2 years due to sickness. How can he get back to on mainstream? So that's what he's asking.
Yeah, I think first thing, that you're not feeling that you're not in mainstream just because you lost time is one of the biggest killer. Venu. People think that I have a break, what do I do? And I think that kills them further. So if you think that 2 years break and then hence you are actually having that in mind itself, kills another 2 years. So after 4 years you become bad to worse, right? So let's look at what are the skills that he has, where does he has to search. But one mistake that they should not do is they should not search in the open job market. Open job market, they have to see just for the understanding of what's happening, which industries are hiring and all. But I think the hidden job market is something that is very, very important for them, because it is going to be direct, and people who would know about your skills, hence they give an opportunity. So hence I think the approach should be more, first thing, forgetting is the most important thing, and then focusing on the hidden job market and the approach to direct network, and through company channels, through individual friends and family who has a network. I think leveraging that network will probably help, because it will give you a foot step into the door. And then of course, a lot of preparation that you need to do in terms of it's not your fault, right? You're falling sick. There is no shame in actually sharing. Most of the people having to feel that, oh, I fell sick and that's why I lost, itself kills 90% of their confidence. I think first thing you have to do is that, as I said, a company is looking at, can you do a job? Do you need a job? Do you have the fitment into it? That is what they're going to look at. They're not going to look at that, oh, just because of your sick, we are not going to throw you away. But reaching to that stage, I think you need to look at the hidden job market. I think it will be very useful in such cases, because there are many people who have the problem. And also I mentioned that, even women, when they're actually taking for a maternity break and all, it is also a break, right? It is a natural, natural break. And sickness is also a natural break. So you should really look at not only just a job as an option, but also can you really deliver your skills on a smaller projects to start with, and a longer projects to go ahead in the future, and maybe a job in the future. But that's, I think, you need to go one step aside, so that if you pick up the first one, deliver something, you feel confident. You no longer you put behind the 2 years back again. I think that's one of the very important things for people who have a break. Otherwise, that will keep killing you further and further and further, and even we will not get ashes. Once it just burns you so much that
GR, your answer not only for the gentlemen, but also for many women who have taken break for their delivery or some other issue. And it will be a great encouragement and inspiration for what you said, because you have analyzed an issue in a 360-degree angle, that you don't have to, that's not your fault if you are sick. And in fact, maybe something else is the priority. That was okay. And a 2 years break, actually, suppose we will end cycling, and if we stop using the cycle for some time, but we will never forget, isn't it? So some skills are there again that needs maybe a little update and refinement. That's it. So one can come back again. And as a speaker, 1-2 years I took break in between, but it doesn't mean that I will forget those skills, isn't it? So once we know them forever. So thanks a lot, GR. I think this is one of the great insight, and people get life with this session. I can tell you that the kind of value you have added within this 15 minutes. Thank you so much. I think there are no further questions. I think some more question has come that I'm working on pharmaceutical. I did not get promotion since 10 years. And that is one of the booming industry now. And he did not get the promotion for 10 years. And what to do, GR?
So I think this is called doing a job. So you're doing a job for 10 years, probably the same job repeated 10 years time. So that means you have actually only a very limited experience. That's the first thing as a reaction. But I think as another point of view to look at is also that many of us who don't really look into how to build a career, because we are happy with where we are going to office and coming back, and suddenly 10 years passed, or maybe 15 years passed. That's how it happens. But I think what really very important is that what is a value add that you have done to the company that has not been recognized. There are two ways. One is you would have added value, but somebody would have taken a credit, but you haven't really realized, or you would have added value, but you have not communicated. I think that is also very important. That's the first level in a job. Job means when you are like a team member. But where is the growth comes from? Growth never comes from being in the same job. You have to go to the next level. So the next level job always demands that you manage people, because India is such a country that if you don't learn managerial skills as you go on, you will never get promotion. Promotion is all about the role change. Earlier also I mentioned that what is the role that you do at a team member level? task is given, you perform. That's your role. And what is the role of a manager? The task he analyzes, looks at who's very good and assigns. So have you really built those skills, the supervisory skills, the managerial skills? I think that is very important. If you're not built, probably that is the challenge, and or maybe you have not really taken that as seriously for your career. 10 years, of course, it's too long, but you don't have to worry. But at least start looking at that. What does it give you to be on the top of the positions? See, one of the best position that you should really look at is you have to run a business. You have to run a business, either your own business or a business where you are actually an employed. I think this is the only thing that will happen. Irrespective of the skills that you developed in the initial stage, you must start building your relation to business and how you can actually improve business. Maybe initially you start with work-wise, process-wise, quality-wise, and then market-wise, sales-wise, and then you become a complete personality. And then you become the, I think your target should not be less than CEO when you start now. And then start building the categories. I don't think then, you'll have a problem of, not having, have a promotion. Who has to give you a promotion? You have to force them to give a promotion in such a way that you perform, you also communicate. Because I think most of them, I think in this case, I'm only guessing that you have not communicated your value well to the organization. I think that is where you lost. Or I don't know, but if you have done the same thing forever, I think that's also one of the aspects. So focusing on what next, and have I improved that skill? How can I improve the skill? Nowadays, you don't have to wait for organization to help you improve that skill. Today, you have come onto this particular platform. You're learning something. Go back and start implementing. I think that's the way one need to approach Venu.
Wonderful, GR. So I think you very well explained that. So in fact, according to me, there are no employees. Everybody is a business person, because if he upgrades his skills and knowledge and he's selling his skill to the company, and if he doesn't pay, then somebody else will pay. And when you take 10 rupees and increase your performance to 20 rupees, either this company has to increase or their competitor will increase. Yeah, so it is nothing but because only some people get stuck with a sentiment that, but otherwise, sometimes companies may not recognize. So when I was an employee, I always demanded. So and people say nobody is given 2 increments or 3 increments. What is this? That is your standard. But when I go to some other company, maybe 4 times I'll get, because this is the limitation of this company. So when we have exceeded what we are doing, as you rightly said, that you have probably done the job. Like a bus conductor that maybe 20 years, he must be doing the same. Somebody with no experience within 2-3 months can do the same job, maybe better, because he has young and more energy. So that means if you are replaceable, it's not a career. If you are not replaceable, then probably there's a career. Very well said, GR, and very boldly said in a straight way. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that it is useful to everybody. And I request at least once in a month to come for a short session and address the Q&A, so that it will help us in indirectly that maybe somebody to gain the confidence and grow himself and get a job or become a self-employed in this gig economy. Thanks a lot for throwing a lot of light and giving your valuable insight. Thanks to you. And any further services they'll not be doing individually, they are doing in a corporate these services. So HughesIS.com. But for anybody who wants a program, they are actually offering this program in abroad, other countries, not in India. But if at all more people wanted it, we can request him to organize a 5-day program, a 2 hours program. That if more people are interested, we may request them. But I request for one thing, that give some time for every month, so that if one person gets a job because of your conversation, I feel very, very grateful for your presence, GR. Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
a great mentor.
Take care. Bye-bye.